live. Live on YouTube here.
Hello.
What's up, David?
Oh, just wondering and wondering.
You and me both.
What about? I have no idea.
I'm just thinking about we were goofing off right before we went live here, and we were pretending to do ASMR, and we were planning to do a whole show just ASMR. So that
Yeah.
was something. Somehow,
Welcome to the thought process.
I'm joined here today. It's you. It's important to you. You know, it's almost good. It's almost good, but I couldn't keep it up for the whole time. I really couldn't.
Yeah. Like if I ever have to do a show, am I trying to get my kids to sleep or something? I'll try to sneak it in that way.
Yeah, that could be a use case.
So if you haven't watched the show before, we're two people who care about people, and we're trying to understand things. We're trying to find out the thought process people have behind things, hence the name. My name's David, and this is 2-Day David behind me. He was born yesterday, and I help him learn things about the world, talking to people. And this is Pierce. I'll let him tell him about himself there.
Yep, I'm Pierce. I'm technically alone. Alan's somewhere around here. You can never find that guy. He's all over the place. But yeah, we talk about really whatever is important to you. What we like to talk about. It can be a belief. It can be something else. Value. Really whatever.
Mm-hmm. We're hosting this in Discord at the Street Epistemology Discord server right now, and there should be a link in our video description, and we're putting it on YouTube for everybody in the Discord. So that's why we're talking in such a third person, second order observational kind of type mentality there. So we're not crazy, only a little crazy.
I mean, you kind of speak for yourself, David. All right, Luke. Come on up.
Hello.
Luke's coming up.
You hello. No, don't do that.
ASMR.
Yeah. Welcome to the ASMR. Thought process ASMR.
We could pull in a whole new crowd doing that.
Yeah. I don't know who though. I don't know if you want this kind of crowd. Anyway, maybe. Why not?
Who knows? It could be deep thinking.
Chris is a good-looking guy, so it might work.
Talking about today,
David. And like today, David's like, help me. Come
on. No. Let Pierce have his moment. He earned it.
Yeah. He's the winner. The most handsome of the two. You need to have one best.
You can only be number one.
One number one.
Or you have 11.
Mm-hmm. So today, I had this conversation with an atheist, and he had this thought about perfection and how perfection the perfect being must know everything, like even the thing that seems unknowable. And I'm like, no, the perfect being just needs to be the best. He doesn't need to know all or everything that you can think of.
Okay.
And
what? So many fun things to do with that. So, why are we talking about a perfect being with this guy? Why does it matter?
Oh, there is. So, do you know what a qualia is? I learned about it today.
Is that like the experience of something, like the taste of an apple, like the taste, the experience of tasting?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. So, I learned about it, and he said, "Does this perfect being has all the qualias, meaning that he experienced everything. Because he needs to know he said qualias is part of knowledge, basically. Qualia is a form of knowledge. And that the conversation went from there. This is where he wanted to demonstrate that such a thing is impossible. And I'm like, yeah, because at the beginning you clearly stated something that was a mistake. But anyway, the conversation nevertheless derived from this perfect being and perfect being being able to understand how something else than him not understanding by the qualia, by the feelings that others have. Like if today David had were able to experience a dog's joy, this kind of thing. So so some other beings' feelings he should be able to experience them.
And you're saying that in order for like something to be like just absolutely ultimate and perfect, they would not have to. They can know that without having experiences. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying that he just needs to be the one who knows the most, the perfect
Knows
being.
the most.
Yeah, the most knowledgeable person. So if you have some kind of knowledge about the dog, for example, how the dog would feel, he knows more than you.
Why are we using the word perfect and not just the most or the best or the? Does perfect mean something different, like than like complete and full?
I guess it's perfect is the most knowledgeable, the most beautiful, the most like there is many criterias that comes when you say perfect. When you say the most, you need to say the most what. The perfect is like the most good. It's
So you said
it's the most
Pierce is the best looking host on the show. So does that mean he's
there you
the
go.
perfect host?
No, it's not the most good looking host there is. There are better good looking hosts than Pierce. Not today, but not tonight, not in this show.
Wow.
It's Ryan Seacrest, isn't it?
That's why. Anyway, yeah. So
He's a good looking man.
we have. It's who? Ryan.
Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, okay, cool.
Anyways,
I don't know.
moving
I
on.
don't know how to rate beautiful men.
I'm sure you
I
can
prefer women. I'm sorry. I don't know how to. I just picked the pink size instead of the brown one, and that's the reason why I choose Pierce. It's because it's pink and not brown.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry, it's nothing to do with your
D.
physical attributes. It's about your background, and that's what makes you the better.
That's why you're the perfect host,
host.
Pierce.
Yeah, for tonight.
Because I got the pink
today. Because you got the pink and the blue and the nice colors that I like. I like those colors. It's
yeah, we're going for a contrast tonight. Like I'm real earthy, and he's this cosmic aura.
I think Ryan used a different term last week or the week before. Anyway, moving on. So with this word, word perfect, yeah, thank you. I'm struggling to understand it. Like, can you finish the sentence? So when you were talking to this atheist, you're talking about, the perfect being. What does that mean? The perfect being. Complete the sentence for me.
No, he said it's impossible. Is impossible. That's the end of the phrase. The perfect being is impossible.
Okay. Complete it with what you think is true. The perfect being in Luke's
It's
words.
not what you think it is.
What is it to you?
The most knowledgeable, the one that has the most of each quality.
Are there other perfect things?
No, there's only one first place. You know what I mean? It's like he's, well, can you say the worst? Oh, yeah. So perfect in the bad way, like the worst, like the devil. The devil would be the perfect evil being. You know what I mean? It's like there is God as a perfect good being and the devil as a perfect evil being. The opposite of the other one. The
You think
most
the
wicked,
devil?
the most.
Think the devil could be doing worse? Think he could be causing more havoc?
So the thing with being the most knowledgeable, for example, this was the thing I talked about. So the most knowledgeable, it's about always learning more. You can learn more as time process, time flows. Every second you learn something more that you didn't know the second before.
Are you saying that God only knows what's happening right now?
Yeah. What do you mean by knowing the future? About knowing? Oh no, he doesn't know the future. Well, he knows a future, but not the future. He knows like you're gonna die, which is the future, but not a future.
What's something else he might know?
He knows about the future.
Yeah.
Or what will happen if a spaceship goes into a black hole.
Is this like you
no?
can
He doesn't
theorize
know if. No, he
on
doesn't know
previous
if there will be a
knowledge?
spaceship going into a black hole. He doesn't have this kind of knowledge.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's hard to predict. Well, he knows more than we do. We know what happens tomorrow, which weather it will be, this kind of thing. But he predicts the weather better than we do. So he knows about the weather tomorrow better than we do.
I wonder, Luke, if this God in that hypothetical scenario actually didn't know what the weather was going to be like tomorrow. I mean, he knew a lot. Let's say he was pretty smart, but he didn't know everything. Would that be important?
It's hard to. Yeah. So let's say he doesn't know how stuff works. The weather is the stuff. So he doesn't know how stuff works. Yeah, it would be a big deal because he's the creator of stuff. So he doesn't know what he creates. How does the thing he created works? It's hard.
Yeah. Why is that important? Like, why would he need to know all the intricacies of his creations?
So the why does he need to know because he created them is not an answer. He needs to know because he's the creator. That's why he needs to know. You
I mean, that might be
you cannot create something that you don't understand.
Okay. So
I
it's not
created
really
a lot of problems with my friends that I did not understand what I was doing. Some bad relationships.
Did you understand what you were doing when you created the thing
I didn't, but I created the situation.
Anyway, it wasn't. I guess it wasn't on purpose. You didn't master it. You didn't create it on purpose. I'm thinking of a writer who writes pages of his story, and he doesn't know what the feelings of his characters are. It just doesn't make sense, right? Why does the creator has to know the feelings of his characters? Well, the author of a book needs to know the feelings of his characters or the future. Yeah, this kind of. So he needs to have the answer to the question because he's the creator.
So
And it's a huge thing if the creator says, "I don't know what he felt when he fell into the pond." Jimmy fell into the pond. Jimmy's in the well. So this kind of thing. If the author says, "I don't know," it's wrong. You are starting to doubt his capacity as a creator of the story. So you would say maybe he's not the one who created the story.
Hmm.
there's a
If
book
the
I
author,
wrote.
oh, go ahead, Pierce. I know you're excited to plug your book.
Yeah,
Good work.
I am.
That's your book.
Yeah, so here's Sophia. I imagine I might know what she was feeling in the book.
Yeah.
And then there's this guy. He doesn't have a name. He doesn't have a name in the book. But he found Sophia's necklace and gave it back to her. I don't know what he was feeling. Can't say that I do.
You don't know what he was feeling when he found the knuckles?
No.
Yeah, the story doesn't tell, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. There's nothing. It's not really important to the plot, right?
Yeah, the future is something really that will be told, right? The weather tomorrow is something that will be told in books or whatever device that you want to record it. So when you say that he doesn't know the weather tomorrow, and it's more like you don't know what you wrote about your character in your book. But right now you're telling me that in this book there is nothing about this guy. So of course you don't know. You haven't wrote about it. But as soon as you write it, there is no way that you don't know because you're the creator of this character and you know how he feels.
Okay. So it's like this grand creator of the universe. He kind of writes every single detail. Where in this example, I didn't write enough details. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, right now you could write tomorrow the part 2 of your book and tell the story of this young man who found the necklace and then talk about his feelings. Once you wrote about those, even if you haven't published what you wrote, so nobody knows, you are the only one who knows about it. As soon as someone asks you, do you know about this character? And you claim, yeah, this is it. This is what he felt when he found the necklace. And when you publish, we found out that it is something else. So you made a mistake, and therefore you're not the author of what you publish or what is published. You stop being the creator of the story because when we asked you before you published, it was something else, right?
Yeah,
Or we cast doubts about you being the author. You could have changed your mind at the last second, whatever, you know what I mean? But it casts doubts about you. So why is it important for God to know what's the weather tomorrow? It's because the doubt that it would cast if he doesn't know that. No more than you. He doesn't know. Yeah, he knows more than you know, like any human being. But he might not know everything, like where these droplets will drop, at what time it will drop.
How do you know to draw the line of what he wouldn't know? Because if he understands what the weather's going to be tomorrow, then he would have to understand the humidity in the air. He'd have to understand the cloud formations. He'd have to know.
Yeah. He knows
what
a lot
the
of things.
levels are. Like, I mean, to know all that stuff, you'd have to know pretty much the entire existence of the world because you'd have to know the weather for everywhere, which means you'd have to know the ins and outs of all of reality. And if you know the ins and outs of all reality, wouldn't you be able to basically predict what's going to happen in succession, similar like a domino?
Okay, so that would be true if you don't take into account the free will, the ability of people to choose. things.
Didn't you just say God knows what the characters have in their hearts and what they're thinking and what their motivations are?
Yeah, once it is written.
Can you say it again? I'm sorry.
Once it is written, not in the future. In the future, Pierce took the example of a human being, but the human that he took as an example doesn't have free will. God doesn't know the feelings of the future of the humans. He's not knowledgeable because there is the human has the ability to say no. He knows about stuff, the thing that doesn't have free will. But humans have free will. Therefore, there are a factor in knowledge in his knowledge that limits his knowledge. There are futures that are impossible because of the choice of humans.
But wouldn't he know that, like me, he knows that I was raised to really, 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 really enjoy mashed potatoes. And he put me in a situation at which I was going to get free mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe I could say no, but
You could.
He would know the reasons I might say no. He would know that too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The choice is yours. Free will is the thing. It's not his choice. It's not him who made the choice. It is you who made your choice. This is the freedom part of the ability to say no to mashed potatoes, even though you like it a lot, and even though it is free, and even though it isn't the best setup that you can think of. It's a pink setup with blue question marks, and you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah. Even though you are in the best setup, you could still know, and it happened in the past. People who were supposed to act a certain way and didn't act the way they were supposed to do. There were no indicator for them to do otherwise, for themselves to do something else.
Can you think of an example?
I have testimonies of delinquent people. Okay, so they were supposed to beat up someone. Okay, so that's what they were supposed to do. They get in the car, they pick up the thing that you put in your hand.
Iron Man, crowbar.
Fists. No, like to punch, but just for your fingers not be hurt.
Brass knuckles.
Brass knuckles. So you pick up the brass knuckles, you get in the car, you go to the guy's place, and you choose to not beat him. Everything in your life points toward the fact that you are going to beat the guy up. Everything that you do before the moments you arrive in front of the guy and you start to crank your hand, you put the thing in your hand. Sorry, I forgot the name. Anyway, this thing on your hand, you are ready to punch, and you don't. He didn't punch the man because he could choose to. He was able to go against everything that were brass knuckles. Thank you today, David. He was able to go against his determination. He was, it's something that is deterministic. Anyway, he was. Everything points out towards the fact that he should punch. He didn't punch because he chose not to.
Was there any potential benefit you could think of that he would not punch? Like any sort of reason he might consider hesitating? Maybe there was a fear of getting caught. Maybe there was the empathy for another human being. I mean, that sounds like plenty of reasons that.
There are reasons. There are reasons. Of course, there are reasons for why you choose what you chose. There could be reason for what you choose what you chose. But you, me and you, today, David and Luke, will never know what are the reasons why well, the only way we would know if he told us why he chose what he chose. And what he told me was he didn't choose. Well, he chose because something prevented him to do it. Some kind of thing that he cannot name. He named it afterwards because it's a conversion story. So some bad people who came to God. So
Sure.
so this kind of story that you heard more
But it
than
kind of sounds
once.
like we're moving away from free will. Like he was compelled otherwise. His heart was hardened. This sounds like the opposite of free will.
So opposite of free will?
Yeah, he said there was something that compelled him. There was something that made him stop. Something that he can't explain. Something that was against his reasoning and choice.
No, he still made the choice. That doesn't know why he made the choice, but he's still the one who made the choice. And he had to pay for this choice. he paid for the consequences of not smashing his brass knuckles in his face.
I think I'm picking up what Luke's saying. It's like this,
Yeah.
David. You got the brass knuckles. Yeah. They're in your hand.
Yeah.
You're about to punch Luke. And then I'm standing right behind you. I put my hand on your shoulder. I say, David, don't do it. And then you make the choice and you don't do it.
Oh, I like the way you pointing it out. That's a nice. There's a little voice talking to you. Oh yeah, maybe that was it. There was something preventing him to do that, and you made the choice to not do it. He made the choice to not do it, and he suffered the consequences, which is a little bit sad. Good thing was he was still alive and talking to us, so we know how it ends. The end of the story was a good ending because, well, he's now talking about his past to others and how that can change your life.
I wish I had somebody put their hand on my shoulder during some stupid mistakes I've made in my life. You can push my free will. When I was younger, that'd have been helpful.
So he made a lot of bad choices before that one. He made a lot of bad choices. Many times he wished he had the same urge to stop what he was doing, and he regrets those choices today. He says, I shouldn't have, and if I have to go back, I will not choose the same thing. I will not do the same thing over.
So, Luke, you believe that this was God speaking to him? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what he says. Well, he didn't say God in his testimony. He said something. He didn't put a name in it. God came afterwards in history. So there was something preventing him. He doesn't know what it was.
What do you, Luke, think happened?
Like I said, I can only know what he told me. I can guess, make a guess, and say, yeah, this little voice that you spoke of, which is a really great idea, was God telling you not to do that. I'm pretty sure God told him not to do that. That's a certainty for me, at least, almost a certainty. So why did he hurt God this time and not all the other times? I don't have an idea. I don't have the slightest idea why at this moment he listened to this little voice telling him not to do it. He chose. So yeah, basically coming back to free will, that's why God could predict the future, but with a certain uncertainty based on the choices that we make that can go against his will.
Do we ever stop having free will?
Oh yeah, well, you there are things that free will doesn't have power over. When you put your hands in the fire, you will burn your hand. So even if you will your hand not to burn, it will still burn. I mean, you understand what I mean in a normal situation. Don't put a glove on your hand beforehand or whatnot. But in a normal situation, you put your hand in the fire, it will burn, even if your will is not for it to burn. So free will has limitation. Rules of nature goes against a higher degree than free will. You cannot fly into the sky like Superman does.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Even
like my free will into liking classical music because that'd be great because I could just have so much music at my disposal, but I can't make myself like it for some reason. I don't get.
liking something.
Yeah, I'm trying to use my free will to change my taste. It'd be
Is
just like everything, and then I'd never have a bad day. Everything I hear would be great.
So happiness is a choice, yes, but the liking of things, is it? Well, you could. Yes, we have studies about the effect of repetition on people. How saying the same thing over and over and over, hearing the same music over and over, they start to like the music. At the beginning, they don't like it, but because they hear it on the radio so many times, they start to enjoy the
I've heard of
music.
that.
Yeah. So I guess you could start to like music. It's something, if you really want to, there are techniques available out there for you to start loving the music. You need to go through the process of hurting yourself listening to classical music over and over. But yeah, I guess you could.
We'll try it. Do you think that this perfect being that is the greatest and the biggest has free will?
Oh, it's yes and no. Yes, in the sense that he's the most free person existing, or people, or being, the most free being that can be. There is no being that is freer than him. He has will also. So yes, he has free will, but the free will of God is not the free will of human. It's not the same kind of free will.
He can fly. He can.
Yeah, he could fly away. Yeah, he flew.
He could like classical music.
Yeah, he wanted to. Like a snap of the finger. He could turn water into wine, and resurrect and fly into the sky after resurrection. He did all those things. He could do that normal humans can't.
Does the devil have free will in this scenario?
So again, he's yes, and it's a different kind of free will than humans. Yes, he has free will. He has a will, and yes, he's free to choose God or not God. He chose not God as soon as he was created, and he's still choosing not God right now. He keeps choosing.
You said that they've gained these titles from being the best, and the worst, the best of the worst. Could they choose to give up that title to like make themselves less bad than this person, or less good than this person? Could they shift their position on the ladder?
So I don't know. The correct answer is I don't know. What they told me when I mean theologians I spoke to about devil and angels and the devil, Lucifer. They told me that he is outside of time. Therefore, when you say tomorrow, will he have the same thought than today? It doesn't make sense because the thought is not through our timeline. So change for devils, angels, gods is not the same thing as for us. The change the will, or the exercise of the will, if you want. When we make a choice, there is a time before the choice, after the choice. Before he chose to hit the guy, and after he didn't hit the guy. Anyway, he chose to not hit the guy, and after where he didn't. So for those beings, angels, devils, and God, it's a different thing. It's not the same time than ours, and it's something that we cannot know. We cannot understand. It's like a fifth. How do you like third dimension, fifth dimension, fourth fifth dimension, one dimension more, something that we can theorize about but not really grasp.
Mm.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So my personal, though, even though they told me that, I feel like some demons can be worse than others, right? So they make they influence people to do bad things. They suggest people, but some demons will suggest worse things than others.
So
Meaning
do they have free will too? Can they, if they can choose to be worse, does that mean they can choose to be better?
It's a guess. I don't have any knowledge about that. The guess is yes. I think they will never be able to turn this choice about not acknowledging God as the strongest, but or the best, or the creator, whatever they chose. This choice is forever. The choice of not God, not wanting to be with God, the choice of hell. They make this choice with Lucifer. They in the story because we made a story with a timeline where they were created, and then you understand what I mean. It's hard for us to understand this fifth dimension, so we make the best that we can with what we had. But it is a timeline that is not real. It is something that we created to make order into with the idea that we have of things, but it is not kind in reality. Everything is at once. Anyway, they make these choices forever. They cannot choose back. Okay, now I regret my choices. I want to go back to heaven. This is not possible. But I feel, it's a feeling again, it's a personal feeling, no no proof of that. But all the proof I have is like sometimes I get this this little devil talking to me, and they have no, it's not one little devil, only one. And sometimes the idea is worse or could be worse. You know, like he knows what I'm ready to do. I am available to do, able to do what I am able to do, like the bad thing, the bad action. But I know that I am able to do worse. Nevertheless, the thing they suggest I do is not the worst. It's just something bad, just a little bit less bad than the worst I can think of. That's why I think that some devils can make this kind of choice where between two worse things, they could choose the less worse of those two. But again, I'm not sure about that. There is no test that I could do to demonstrate that it is true or false.
I mean, you're saying these people are on like a different dimensional time. I mean, they could know that choosing the tapioca pudding over the rice pudding could lead to global droughts in 200 years. I mean, you never know. Could be the worst choice.
The future again. The knowledge of the future, it's tricky because of free will of
they're like
humans.
in time, but not in time.
Yeah,
outside of time, but they can't see in the front. It's like they're
they can see, but it's blurry. Like, you know, like the thing about God not knowing if this drop will drop at this place at this time tomorrow, because it's gonna rain tomorrow. Let's say it's gonna rain tomorrow. So he doesn't know the specifics of the rain. He knows it's gonna rain, but like where the drop will drop is not knowledgeable because there might be someone under this drop because he chose to go out into the rain and run under the rain. Today, David is trying to smash you.
He's like,
I want to be the best host. I want to be the best host. Give me space.
He's falling over thinking about the future and free will.
Yeah, it is something. It is interesting to know that we don't have free will for stuff like the burn in your hand or everything that is natural, that we classify as natural. But there are things that we have choices over, like who do we sleep with? We kind of have.
But what if you zoom out far enough? What if that's just a natural thing that you learn from your childhood experiences and your physiological build and the hormones and all that? Who's a what's it?
So for this to be true, I would need to be able to control a human using all the settings that you created. Right now,
Don't we kind of do that a little bit? Like we try to
a
build better
little
schools.
bit.
We have better outcomes for our kids. We try
We
to
make this music
build better
that they didn't
neighborhoods
like
so we
at
have less
first.
tension between people.
We make people like music that they didn't like at first. Yes, we have control
Yeah.
about what they like or dislike or their choices. We have some control over them, but again, it's not. It's a control based on laws of nature, of our understanding of nature. Right now, I don't have such control over humans, or I don't know anyone who has such control over humans.
Maybe
So
Taylor Swift.
maybe. And so yeah, I don't think it is laws of nature. But yeah, even the best psychics, not psychics, those who control the crowd and makes them bark. How do you call those? Hypnotism? Hypnotists?
Mentalist.
Mentalist. Those are the one. The mentalist.
Pretty good show.
They hypnotize you, and then you go to the stage, and they hypnotize you, and then you do stuff that you're not supposed to do because they command you to do it. So you lose part of your free will when you go on stage.
Hypnotist. That's right.
Hypnotist.
Lots of talk in the comments. Yeah, mentalist is like a mind reader.
Mentalist, like there is someone in the room, and he's like talking. He's going through something difficult, and okay, mentalists are those, and hypnotists are those who say, "Come in on stage and let you hypnotize, and then do stuff that you're not supposed to do."
We get it.
You don't will to do. Anyway, even those, they have limited access to humans.
Mm-hmm.
They found a trick to go around the will of humans. I guess they found a trick. I haven't tested really their power, but let's say they found a trick to go around their will. But anyway, they also agree to say there are limits about what we can make them do.
As of right now.
Maybe one day, and that's the day I will have to agree that there is no free will. The day where I could control a human being choices, like control all of them, then yeah, I don't think there is a free will anymore.
Well, we have a marker. We figured it out. So now we have a test, and we'll I'll call Bill Gates and see if he can set up his secret neural link that he's building on Tesla's.
I guess in the future it will be easier. Yes.
Tesla's probably still alive.
How do you tie in Bill Gates and Tesla?
Oh, because Tesla's still inventing stuff. He's like cryogenically frozen with Walt Disney, and they're like secretly running the government or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard about that. It must be true. It's written on the internet somewhere.
Yeah. I read about
research. You did research too.
So, all right, Luke, I appreciate you coming up. We're gonna reset the room here and just chat for a bit and see if we can get some more callers up.
All right, talk to you. Bye bye.
Thanks for coming. See ya. Yeah, good old times with Luke again. I like it. We're here on the Street Epistemology Discord server, which is fun fact. This is where Pierce and I met. Um,
That is
to,
true.
and connected through, we're both making street epistemology content, and we've both done things that are street epistemology, and then we started learning about new things, and we've been trying to merge things and deconstruct things and remerge things, and we're just trying to figure out how all this works. So, Pierce, why don't you say some words?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not doing exactly vanilla SE by any sense of the word. A mixture of a bunch of different things at this point, I think, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We're really trying to, well, there's a few extra goals, right? Street epistemology, you try to invoke reflection on the reliability of the reasons for belief, right? I'd like to do that, sure, why not? Great.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd also like
Useful.
to
Okay.
really understand. I mean, with SE, yeah, understanding is part of it. But I think almost on a deeper level, like if it's something that is not like a truth claim, like an observation, you know, moon is made of cheese, right? That's something maybe we could. That'd be a good question to say. How can we test that, right? But there's other things where it's like not clear. Like there is no test, right? Should this certain thing be legal? Should it be illegal? How do you test that? You can't really test that. I would want to know what that's doing for you, why that's important to you. You know, that's how we're doing things a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I have a ever growing goal of trying to help people who have disagreements and different understandings of the world, like bridge their interactions and actually talk about the things that um, they're talking about instead of talking over each other, shadow boxing, or and fighting imaginary fights here and them somewhere in a triangle up top. Here. Yeah, the analogy fell apart. Just somebody look over. Oh, is that a distraction over there? Wow. Um,
I think we got the gist. I got the gist.
yeah. Oh, moon pies. Somebody said in the comment. I love moon pies.
Moon pies. Oh yeah. They still
A
make
cheer wine
those?
and a moon pie. It's called a redneck wine and cheese. If you haven't tried it, if you get cheer wine where you're at, I
Or
recommend it.
we don't have any hands up. I think I'd like to talk about something.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think now I just got back from Little Rock, Arkansas, at the Secular Student Alliance conference. And I got to talk with a lot of different people. I got to talk to some of the presenters, a lot of the students. Bob was there. Did you know Bob was there? Bob's awesome.
I didn't.
Anyway,
I hear good
um,
things.
yeah, Bob Swanson, great guy. Anyway, um, yeah, I got to talk to a lot of different people. A lot of people who are very, very passionate. There was a lot of passionate people there, and I've talked to passionate people before. I think I've come to an idea, and I think activism. I think activism can sometimes get in the way of having empathy for people who disagree with you.
Hmm. Tell me more. What do you mean?
So when I say activism, I mean anyone who is passionately supporting a cause and or trying to convince others to also support that cause. And when I say empathy, I mean ability to step into somebody else's shoes and understand how they feel about something and why they feel the way they feel.
Hmm. Oh, what's the connect there? Why do you think activism can lead to that type of mentality?
I think it creates like a blind spot. I think that you get so laser focused on this one thing, and maybe it's because you have empathy for something related to that, like if you're, if there's a group of people that you're trying to help with your activism and you have a lot of empathy for them, you can get like laser focused right there, like, I need to help these people and I'll do whatever it takes. And you forget that there's other people out there too that, maybe you could step into their shoes and have empathy there too. I don't think there's any reason why you couldn't have empathy here and empathy there, but I think people get so laser focused that they just kind of lose sight of everybody.
Hmm. Is there any benefits to that laser focus, maybe, that would lead to that behavior?
Well, there could be. There could be. If it's something that should or needs to be done, if it's something that will improve the world we live in, then maybe there's a benefit there, to ignoring the other side. Because then maybe you'll get shit done better. you know, maybe the empathy for the other side could serve as a distraction, I suppose. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I
Mm.
think if you have empathy for your opposition and you really understand their perspective, I think that's beneficial. I think that you're more likely to connect with them, and if you're able to connect with them, I think you're more likely to have them come to the conclusion that they should join you in your activism. If that makes any sense.
Mm. Yeah, I'm chewing on that. What if somebody thinks there's a risk to empathizing with people who might hurt them otherwise?
Risk to empathizing with people who might hurt them otherwise. So, what do you think? So, if you show empathy, that the people who you're showing empathy for might take advantage of that. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes, or may be just a danger to you in general, empathy or not.
Hmm.
You or the people you care about or the cause.
Not sure how it could be a danger to you without them somehow making it being a threat. Um, hmm.
Mm.
I think you can. I think you can and should perhaps set boundaries. Um, and that has. I don't think that has much to do with empathy, right? Hmm, like you can. Like you can have a conversation with them. You can show empathy. You can understand their perspective. But if that person says, "Okay, let's go to a rally," and the rally is for the opposite, right, of your perspective, I think you are well within. You may perhaps you should say no. I'm not going to that. That might be a boundary. You said it doesn't like having empathy doesn't mean you just go along with them and do whatever they say. Right? Maybe I went
Sure.
off the tracks there.
No, I mean that is a scenario, but I don't know if it entirely addresses it. I guess aside from questioning, to me, it feels like there is a tactical, like a useful utilitarian aspect of empathy for and activism for the opposite side, and that most of the time they're the opposite side because they have unmet needs or they have something that is um, that they are fearful of or something that they think is a risk or something that they think is um, unjust or unfair or something like that. And the discussion in my mind should be had along those lines, about meeting that need, about addressing that injustice on their end too. Like, and maybe you might feel like their need is not really that important. Maybe you think your need is more important, and that's one of the reasons you disagree. But to use the language in addressing that need, like to not ignore that need, to me, it feels like a utilitarian aspect. Like, empathy is useful, like it's caring, and it's. I mean, it may not be the most useful things at times, but I mean, I get, like you said, you could use it wrong, or you could use it in a way that could get you hurt if you don't have boundaries, like you were talking about. But I mean, that's what I see a lot of times. Like I see people like with like trans and anti-trans discussions, like they're having discussions about like words and language and metaphysics, and it's like, really, people are just trying to talk about fear they have of bad things happening, or fear of people. Both of them have fears of bad things happening, and it's like we're not talking about that a lot of times. We're just kind of talking about words, or it's like it's shadow boxing.
Yeah, you pretty much said exactly what's in my brain. You get it. You get what I'm saying, obviously.
Awesome.
And I think that's well said. Like with regards to the trans thing, when I see people, talking back and forth, shadow boxing, if you will, talking about words, talking about definitions. Yeah, that's important. Sure. But a lot of times they're talking past each other and they're not getting down to the root. And I think they're afraid to talk about what's really important because it opens up a layer of vulnerability. A layer of vulnerability that us as humans in this particular culture, we're not comfortable doing. It's a very uncomfortable thing to do. I think it's important though. And I think it's important because if we do have those conversations where we are vulnerable, I think more often than not, we realize we have the same need. We're just using a different strategy to get to that need. And in the case of the trans argument, I think the need that both sides are trying to fulfill is protection in a lot of cases. And they're just seeing it differently and using a different strategy for accomplishing. But I think
It's
if
a
we
lot of
talked
all
about
or
that, that'd be
nothing
great.
stuff. It's like if you concede to one thing, you're kind of almost feel like that it has to be one or the other or something. It's tough. It's not an easy solution. There's not a real good middle ground, honestly. But I do think that we'd have better conversations in that way. What was I going to say? Logic Dog, just come up with whatever personnel you got. Just let it all hang out. But not like that.
Not literally. We've
We've
had
that happen.
Oh, that wasn't funny. It was funny, but it wasn't funny.
Yeah. It's fun because it didn't actually show up on YouTube, thanks to OSB or whatever, OSX, whatever it's called. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. You'd think a show here would have on this server would be a little more popping,
No. We got a lot of reflective people. We got a lot of nuance in this server. We got a lot of people who are like, well, I mean, I want to make claims, but also don't want to like hold. I mean, there's people that they're not about to just go out guns a blazing. Totally understand.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of this, I mean, the street epistemology has kind of trained a lot of people to say, like, I mean, if I'm going to make a claim about something, it's going to be something I can hold confidence in, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
A lot of good listeners in this server. I really like a lot of people I've met. It's been really incredible. the kind of connections I've made, and then like how they've shot off to neighboring things and stuff like that. I really enjoy all it.
Yeah, me too.
But we're keeping a pretty open stage topic here right now. We're basically, what's something that's important to you that you wish other people believed, or maybe you wish you understood yourself better, or something you just care about that you don't feel like people understand. And
Or you could talk about something that you need body armor for. And what I mean by that, it is a joke. It is the joke. Thanks, Taylor. But what I mean by it is something that you wish that you could be tougher about. That you
Does it get under your skin?
Yeah, exactly.
You wish it didn't get under your skin. Now you sound kind of like talking about like Pine Creek being that dead inside.
No. I'm encouraging him to be more alive inside. I changed my username in his server to Pierce alive inside Watkins. I love it. You see?
Yeah, good luck.
I think he likes it too. We'll see. I'm working on him. He'll get there.
I believe in
Promise. You'll see the utility, David. You'll see the utility.
The utility. Yes, the utility of empathy. That should that's a book name right there. I got it. Somebody be my ghostwriter.
That would be a good book title. Dig it.
Yeah. All right. Now wait. So now we're gonna spend the rest of the time writing chapters for this book. So we
might as well. I mean, we can either write the book or you can start rapping. One of the two.
Oh, okay, good. So here's a pen. Paper. Okay. Logic Dog, when you coming up here?
Well, Mango suggested, she said, you could share how SE has helped you. That could be interesting. Any thoughts on that?
First off, I love SE because it gives me an excuse to talk about things that are like meaningful in a lot of ways, but taboo to bring up without becoming contentious or like you're attacking a person. It's like a kind of a logic game to discuss things, which you can't really do just at a dinner table at Thanksgiving. I mean, you can, but like, people will have to get seconds really quick.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Maybe you could.
Logic Dog.
What's up, man?
Hello, how are you guys? I just want to say,
Candy.
there's no equality. You can't equalize people. You can't equalize them on the demand side. You see, I'm very careful with my words.
No equality. What would equality mean to you?
Just riding Jordan Peterson. I thought that's the personality you guys needed.
Oh man, Jordan Peterson left. I thought he was going to stay longer. Oh.
The damn dragons in my head, they torment me day and night, and I just want them to stop.
Have you tried cleaning your room? They might be going for something in there.
I tried cleaning my room, but I just got addicted to benzos.
Haven't we all? It's understandable.
You know, that's actually the secret to a good life, is cleaning your room.
There's probably some merit to that, to some degree. Like, I think it's one of those like cliches that has usefulness, but it doesn't actually answer the question. It's almost like a distraction, like just keep swimming or daggum. I'm just trying to think of when you distract a kid when you're teaching him to ride a bike. He's like, just keep pedaling, just clean your room, and then you figure it out in your brain somehow. Otherwise,
So what do you guys like to talk about on here? Is there anything?
Pretty much.
Yeah, we're kind of wide open. We're still forming how this show is framed. We're both pretty.
Yeah. What's the idea behind the thought process? Like, do you guys go into people's thought processes?
Yeah, pretty much. I
Mhm.
mean, the way I describe it is I'd like you to walk me down your path of how you got from, disbelief, no belief, neutral, whatever, to where you are now.
Mm-hmm. In a similar way, when I was talking about why I think empathy is, and uh, well, in a similar way, what I was saying is that I think a lot of times people assume how people got from point A to point B, or point C, point D, point Z, and by having somebody explain the process fully in a more open situation instead of just argument, I think my goal is that hopefully people will understand people who think differently than them a little better, and not just make the assumptions or skip the steps of how they got there.
Yeah, I think sometimes when people are doing like vanilla SE, they'll use questions like, "What are your reasons for belief?" And I think that might pigeonhole some people into they thinking they have to give some like logical argument, right? And a lot of times they will, or at least they'll try to, right? And that might not be how they got to that belief, and that's not what's supporting it. And if they lost that logical argument, it wouldn't really matter, right? Because that's not how they arrived at that belief. And I like to I'm trying to ask questions that don't do that, that leave it wide open and they can answer however they want. And hopefully we get an answer that's, closer to what actually got them to that
Mm-hmm.
belief or whatever it might be.
And it's a fun balance because kind of being open to hearing people out leaves room for a little bit of rambling, and we're working on honing our skills on bringing out people's thoughts without just rambles and stuff like that. So that's also the thought process. We're working on the thought process of how to have these meaningful discussions without having people check out.
Hmm. You guys should invite Dusky up here.
I mean, if they're willing to come
Come
up,
on.
sure.
Yeah.
Let's have a party, Dusky.
Mhm.
So like OBS caught, like, has image detection or something, and caught it.
No, the framing was just off because
Okay.
two people came up on stage at the same time, and it bumped him out of the window that was going to show it. So we did not
Oh,
It was
put
like
3.0 on YouTube.
it was like a Deus Ex Machina, like in a movie. Just saved you. Like, it was random, but it saved you. They like aired like live television isn't usually completely live. They have like a person that can cut it off, and like
Mhm.
on Fox uh, television, they like accidentally like aired a guy killing himself, like during a police chase, and he's like,
Yeah.
cut it off, cut it off, cut it off. He was like screaming, and they didn't cut it off in time. It's funny.
Yeah. It kind of it was not that dire, but it felt pretty
Yeah.
intense at the moment.
I was
For sure.
mashing the keyboard. Yeah,
He has hot keys.
I do. Cuts it off right away. No pun intended.
I like saying no pun intended when there's no pun, and then it leaves everyone thinking, what was the pun? I don't know if that's what you were doing, though.
No.
That's great. Yeah. We'll try that. So Logic Dog, why is your name Logic Dog?
This was like, I mean, I've changed it every now and then, but I like came back to Logic Dog, so it's been this way for like years now. It's just I like studied logic, and there was this guy that also was a logician on Discord, and he had a dog picture. So I thought I would like copy him and just be Logic Dog.
Yeah, that tracks. Logical.
You want to know anything about logic or anything? Like what's something you always wanted to know about?
Something I've always wanted to know about. What's your take on free will and whether or not I can choose to eat mashed potatoes or not?
This is like the worst one. Okay.
Forget it. Forget it.
Well, like,
I don't want
your
to dredge through it. Don't even dredge. I regret it as I started even saying it. Let's talk
like
about
I
something
was
more
like I
important.
was hoping it wasn't about God and it was about something worse. No.
Jeez. At first, I got called the least attractive host on the show earlier. Now I'm getting told I'm making the worst topic suggestions.
Wait,
I'm on a roll tonight.
The least attractive of you two.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like an only child from my dad, and he's like, "You're my favorite son" or whatever. But well, like, so what's your definition of free will? Are you going off the like?
No, we're done. No, logic. That's over. We're not talking about free will anymore.
All right. What's your question, Pierce? We should take questions from the audience.
What is the most recent thing that you have learned that you think is true?
The most recent thing I learned that I think is true.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a question mark to your left, I believe.
That's the most recent thing you learned?
Yeah. But like the big thing, I'd have to think. Let me think. I have no idea.
Okay. What's the most recent
Why do
thing that
women
you
be
changed your mind on?
I can't do these questions right now. Like,
All right, that's fine.
Like, he's fried. Thanks for coming up, Logic Dog.
Yeah. All
right, see ya.
Take it easy.
Sasha asked a question.
Yeah.
Do you see SE as something that is evolving? How so, if yes? It's a tricky question. And the reason being, is SE evolving? Is street epistemology evolving? And to answer that, that's rough because SE is it's like this definition, right? Like if we got this definition and it fits perfectly in this notebook, and then somebody else thinks of something else, and it's like right here. Is this is SE? This is the other thing that kind of goes with it. Are they separate? Are they the same? It's hard. Like if I were to talk with David here, and we talk about some sort of normative claim, and I talk about and use a lot of the SE techniques, right? And I talk about what he's feeling about it, what need he's trying to fulfill. Then we talk about strategies, and I say, hey, is this the most effective strategy? Are there any alternative strategies? If Alan comes down, what strategy would he use? There's this other guy who thinks this other strategy is good. I want to know which strategy to use. Which strategy should I go with, David or Fred and Mark here? So it's almost like SE. It's not. Is that SE? So that's a really long way to say I don't know what would be considered the definition of SE, and can you expand that definition? Like I feel like I'm not the right guy to answer that part of the question. But I think that personally I am branching out and trying new things, and I think those things are working. I think I have discovered something that works really well, and I'm excited about it.
I think SE can evolve. You get it to level 25, and it gains new attacks and higher HP. And that, I mean, yeah, it's they're literally writing paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of modules and type of videos and surveys that you can kind of go through and look and to try to expand. And maybe it's like what he was showing earlier. Maybe it is just a definition list and they're filling in gaps in between that. But I mean, I think that is evolving. I mean, I think it's becoming more refined. I think there's people who have done it so long that it's becoming less of a I'm going to sit down and do street epistemology to they've started integrating it into their everyday kind of things when they do sit down face conversations. They're not thinking about point A to point. I mean, they're not thinking about, well, first I'm going to ask this question and this, because I mean it's becoming more and more naturally assimilated into these kind of talks. So yes, I think it's evolving. I think people are trying new different things with it. I mean, you've got people trying it with groups. You got people trying it with individuals. You got people trying it in VR. You got weirdos walking around with cardboard cutouts. I mean, there's all sorts of fun things on that. So yeah, street epistemology is definitely evolving because there's a million different people who are like interacting with it now. Like whenever it was kind of like the big 5 or whatever, the 7, it's like, I'm not counting that, just making that up. It was,
I was trying to figure out who it was.
Yeah. That's what it was. But I mean, it's we're like 2 or 3 generations down from that at this point. I mean, it's just there's different packs. I mean, and maybe the people would say like, you know, I'm not doing SE, you're not doing SE, whatever. Yeah. So yeah.
And Mango's really. Oh, so you have any more thoughts on that? Okay.
Oh, no, I have no more thoughts anymore in my head.
Mango's really driving the show now with all these questions, and I really appreciate it. She asked, have you two changed your mind on anything recently? For me, kind of. And of course, it was Mango who helped me get there. So we were talking about communication and how people communicate. And so I was attempting to be very nonviolent. And when I say that, people are not going to know what I mean, but that's okay. let's just go with it. I'm not going to explain.
Post a link.
Yeah. And so we were talking, and she said something really interesting. She said, like, sometimes you have to communicate in the same style as the person is communicating with you. So if they're being moderately aggressive, then you kind of want to match some of that energy a little bit rather than be passive and non-aggressive, and right, because you do that and sometimes they just think they can roll on you, right? They can just steamroll you and you'll agree with them and go away and submit to them. And maybe there is some truth to that. Previously I was like, no, don't do that. If they're going to steamroll you, then just walk away, whatever, flip them off. No, don't flip them off. But maybe there is some truth. I'm kind of went from very confident to maybe I'm somewhere in the middle now. Maybe I don't know. I thought it was interesting what she had to say. Made me think.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see value in what you're saying there. As far as for me, I think I've talked to too many vegans lately, and now I'm like questioning the butcheries and like places that are very process heavy, like not very like just kind of cruel, like the way the animals are butchered. I'm still not vegan at this point, but like it's got me like questioning like the sources I'm getting my stuff from. That's something that I've changed my mind on lately, I think. And that was hard. It's like extra brain power, caring about more things. It's like I already cared about so much in the world. And now I got to think about that too. Life is difficult sometimes like that.
Yeah, indeed. It is. Yeah, sometimes you just don't have enough energy for all those things that you care about. Right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. I was already tired of trying to care about what I already cared about. So, but what do they say? Love is infinite, sorta, with an asterisk. Like, just think of the possibilities of a human being. Like, if I were to start like smoking crack tomorrow, I would be able to get more crack. I would expand the capabilities of human existence by tenfold to get more. Like, I would hustle more than I've ever hustled in my life. Not that I want to do that, because I don't want to hustle 10 times more just to chase that little bit to chase that. But I'm just saying, there's capacity there. You just gotta have the right motivator. I'm trying to find something that's like crack, but not crack. So if you find
There's
anything, let me know.
There's so many jokes to be made there, and I can't make any of them.
Have you ever been on the manosphere type of side of the internet, Pierce?
Manosphere?
Yeah, you familiar with that term?
Mm-mm. I
Well,
mean,
like
I can take some guesses, but please explain.
like 5 or 10 years ago, it was it was a lot bigger than it is now. But it's like the women are all the problems of the world kind of
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
internet
That's what I thought.
kind of thing. Yeah, and like I was having trouble like thinking like people are like talking about all these bad dating experiences or talking about all these people they're running into they're just awful, and I'm like, man, there's no way that's real or anything like that. And I think I just got lucky and found someone who's really good, like really nice. And now I'm gonna have to start trying to have those conversations differently. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Where I'm going.
I don't know either.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that I like my wife. Okay, I said it. Done. I can't think of a good way to segue. So
and if you like your wife, then you'll love this book.
oh jeez. Well, this this would be a good time for an ad break. This show is sponsored by Other Jobs, at which we work and our families work to support us sitting on the internet talking to strangers. So you can use your promo code here's today and get 50% off a donation to us to buy a what do you it's hot in here. I had to turn my air conditioner off so my microphone's like I'm starting to lose it.
By the way, it's still doing that thing. It's still doing it, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, my distraction gimmick is I can't use that technique anymore. On cooldown.
And I just want to thank our other sponsor, Tic Tacs, supporting all your thought experiments since somewhere around 2016-ish.
Yeah. Crazy to believe.
This has devolved into something.
It has devolved is the correct word. You know, SE can evolve and we are devolving. That's what's happening at this moment.
It is.
So, Sasha, come on stage. Or we're going to give Luke another turn here. I just see your face all the time, and I need to hear your voice.
I think I've heard his voice. Have I? I think I have.
Everyone on stage, someone says, another time. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. We could just start becoming those streamers and we just put content behind, like we're watching something while we talk. Or playing a video game.
We could do that. It seems cheap.
Maybe NFL Street 2 from 2007.
We should do that. We actually should do that. That's a good game. And like only one other person in this room gets... Nope, 2 other people in this room get that.
Someone asked Pierce about, who is he? Who are you, Pierce? Like, and he said, I really enjoyed the game NFL Street 2. Sorry to air your business. I know that's personal and private, but I think the world needs to know. They need to know who they're listening to right now. This is, I think, informed consent here.
It's a good game. It's got a good soundtrack too.
Yes, I agree. And the soundtracks were awesome back then. I loved the NFL and NCAA games, SmackDown versus Raw. Spent some time playing video games in my youth. All right, Luke, get your coffee cup ready. We're going to do your call here, and I think I'm going to go to bed. Oh, yeah, we had the after party.
Yeah.
The coffee cup. All right. Fears shouldn't have unfalsifiable claims.
What about unfalsifiable claims?
SEers, people who do SE,
Yeah,
shouldn't have unfalsifiable claims.
the person they're interviewing or the person who is giving the interview?
If Pierce were to be interviewed, he shouldn't have, because he's a seer, and even if he's interviewed, he shouldn't have a claim that is unfalsifiable.
Why not?
Why not?
That's a good. So that's why? Because they have this what would change your mind question that they keep asking people, and it's unfair for them to ask people a question they didn't ask themselves.
Why is that?
So
Yeah,
they
why is
ask
that?
people, "What would you? Why is it unfair?"
Yeah. No, really. Like, is it?
Good question.
Why
Is-
did I work and why can't I ask to work for other people to work? Can they just work and me not work? On my idea, on my way to think, on my critical thinking that I have on myself. Can I ask others to have a critique on themselves if I don't do the same for me? I think
Yeah.
it is unfair.
You
Fairness
can.
is
Yeah.
asking of others things that you're ready to do for yourself.
Do you think these questions, like asking about falsifiability, do you think that those are important questions to ask?
Yes, of course. That's the core of essay. If there is an essay without this question, it feels empty.
Interesting. I guess,
Now,
like,
Logic wants to jump in. He has something to say now.
we'll bring him
Fire
up in a
fire
minute. We can bring him up in a minute.
Yeah. Let
so-
Pierce finish his thought. No, I'm down with it.
So Luke, like, you said that these questions are important. And you said like they feel empty if I had a unfalsifiable claim that I believed was true, it would feel empty. I guess I'm not. I think I kind of like get the connection. I kind of get what you're going for,
Mhm.
but I'm wondering like why it really is important. Like if we had somebody in the SE community who did interviews and let's say they had a religion, something, something that we haven't even heard of, some other
The
religion,
moon
and,
cheese.
and it,
The cheese moon.
yeah, the cheese moon religion, that there's a god on the moon made of cheese, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, if they were that religion and they were doing interviews, I mean,
Yeah.
why would it matter?
Oh, it's not for doing the interviews. It's when they are interviewed, they come with the claim the moon is made of cheese, and they don't have a way to falsify it. This is the situation where I say it's unfair for them to keep asking questions of others when themselves are not able to falsify their claims.
Yeah,
Are you
I think
saying that the? Go ahead. Well,
Yeah,
are you saying that the person? I'm gonna. Sorry, I just did the thing.
It's the internet.
Are you
It's
saying
the
that
internet.
the interviewer is being unfair to the person, or the person is being unfair to the interviewer?
So the person is being unfair with the interviewee, the people that he interviewed after he was interviewed. He was interviewing on the claim. He didn't have a way to falsify the claim he had. And then after that, he goes to interview people as a questioner. It is not fair for those people who are interviewed because himself have not answered the question how to falsify his claims.
Hmm.
You ask them to do the work when you don't want to do your work yourself.
If this person, this SE person, do they believe that it's unfalsifiable, or do they think it's falsifiable but it's not actually falsifiable? That might be an important distinction here.
They say, I don't know how to falsify it. To the question, how would you falsify it? They answer, I don't know.
Okay. And if they were to ask these questions, and if falsifiability comes up, like it's like unfair for them to ask about that. That's kind of what you're saying.
Ask about falsifiability for other claims than theirs, but yeah.
Okay.
Of course, if someone else were to come in with the same claim than they have, and they agree, therefore they have the same claim, and then they get to see the person on their claims, their own claims, and then the person says, "Yeah, there is a way to falsify it," and then they choose to not take the way that this person gave or shared. This is another level of unfairness.
Okay. Pretend I am SEing you, Luke.
All right.
And I am here. This is Johnny SE right here. How would you falsify that, Luke? What am I not falsifying? What can I falsify that you're talking about?
Can I not falsify what you are talking?
What are you saying? Like you're saying it's unfair if I can't unfalsify something that I'm asking you to falsify?
I can falsify the fact that people shouldn't have unfalsified claims. That claim is falsifiable. There is a way to measure fairness. You understand? Fairness, it's unfair. That's what I claim, and fairness is measured. Yeah.
Give me an example, because I'm Johnny SC again. What's something that I am not falsifying myself? What am I asking of you that I'm not doing myself? Like, give me an example.
I haven't explored one of the claims that you have where you said I don't have. Johnny, I never SC'd Johnny on a claim.
Yeah, this is David again. This is me. Sorry,
okay.
Just in case you got confused. Which example were you thinking of when you brought up this claim? Like, what did you think? What were you thinking about when you brought this up? Like pretend Johnny SC is the guy in your example.
It's Pierce.
Tell Johnny.
How would you falsify God? That was the question I asked him. So he said God doesn't exist, and how would you know if God existed? And he said, I don't know.
How would I know if he didn't exist?
No, existed. So to first, the claim is God doesn't exist, and to falsify it, it's to recognize how he exists.
All right. I think you're speaking French right now. Can you try English? Now Johnny SC talks. He's got a real heavy draw.
Johnny SC, I love the name. The claim is God doesn't exist. All right.
Mm-hmm.
To falsify the claim, to say God exists, to the opposite of this claim is God exists. Saying that God doesn't exist is false. Is saying that God exists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you follow?
I reckon.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's it. If you don't have a way to know or test God, the existence of God, then you shouldn't have this claim of God doesn't exist.
Well, me, Johnny SC, I mean, I could think of a few things that would make a positive assertion for me. I reckon.
A positive assertion for you on the existence of God.
Yeah. I think there'd be some things that would be more increase my confidence by tenfold.
Yeah, that's cool, and that's why if Johnny were to do SC, then yeah, that's fair. He should be able to do SC because he has a way to falsify his claim about God.
Mm.
In this case, it's okay. It's a good thing.
This is me, Johnny SC, asking you: do you have a way to falsify there being no God?
Yeah, of course. I have ways to falsify there being no. I don't claim that there is no God.
Or like, can you falsify there being a God? Can you make a thing that would say this is false? There is no God. Do you have a marker for that one?
Yes, the coffee cup. That's right.
Wait, the coffee. if the coffee cup wasn't there, and this
So
is
if
this is a throwback
drop
from whenever he
the
talked
coffee
with
cup-
2-Day David a long time ago,
yeah. So
and a Hindu
it's
named
about
Laura.
the test is the following: if I drop the coffee cup, it doesn't jump from time to time. So the laws of nature doesn't work. It makes no sense for God to exist.
Well, that's pretty wild because that was one of my markers for God to exist is if the laws of nature changed. That's pretty neat. Hey guys, Johnny had to go. He
Yeah.
his El Camino caught on fire. He had to get that out.
El Camino. That fits perfectly.
Get Lottie Dog up here. That's in this Brago crazy.
Okay, hold on. I want to ask Luke
Try something. Yeah, go ahead. Have fun.
So this claim about the person doing SC believes a claim that's unfalsifiable. What's the value that's upholding this for you?
So it's the fairness. Well, the value is the good things. I want good things to be around or to float around, good ideas to float around. Which, if all people were to think that SEO shouldn't have unfalsifiable claims, challenge SEO about their claims and the falsifiability of their claims. Which means as soon as the SC is down to the question, the one who was questioned, he could ask the SEer because he knows they don't have unfalsifiable claim. What is your claim? And know that there is a way to falsify this claim. Right? It's just a way to know that they did the work that they asked him to do. If everyone they would be more ready to answer questions from SEers if they knew that SEers had do not have unfalsifiable claims.
I think I may have heard
Pierce, I want to
two
interrupt you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think
Go ahead.
Hey, Johnny, you're back. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, Pierce. I'm trying to hold it back.
I think I heard two different values, Luke. I heard two different
Yeah,
values.
listening.
I heard the first thing you said was fairness. And then I think the second thing you said was like you value people believing in things that are true.
Mm-mm. Well, of course it is. It is important for people to believe in things that are true. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I said that. I started with that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you got those two things. Which one is more important to you?
Well, the first one is impossible without the second one.
Can you explain?
So the first one.
Can you explain? I don't
So,
follow.
If you have a claim that you claim to be true, it is important for people to have true claims, right? That's the first one. So it is impossible to have a true claim if it is not impossible. It is impossible. Well, impossible is too hard. It is unlikely that your claim is true if it is not falsifiable. So I changed impossible to unlikely because, well, it is possible to not make a mistake in your claim, even if it's unfalsifiable for you. Like you don't have to test it, but you claim the year is very cool. This kind of thing.
I hear you.
So, yeah. So it is unlikely that a claim is true if it is unfalsifiable. So when you ask which of the two, the unfalsifiable thing or the true thing is more important, I say the true one because it entails the second one.
I think we may have talked past each other here.
Okay.
I think we may have.
I got something I gotta say here, Pierce. Sorry, Johnny is
Hey,
more
Johnny!
belligerent and assertive, and he's just wide open. He's a pistol.
Gun.
He talks in third person a lot. I feel like you're viewing street epistemology as someone coming from a teaching standpoint. But could you imagine it maybe as someone being a student and that somebody is coming there to learn how they get to the place? It could be a sense of trying to go down the process of assessing what their reasons are? I mean, does it have to? Are you viewing this as something that they can't learn anything? That maybe they have to have everything figured out before they can ask questions? I mean, if you're in a class and you ask a question to a teacher, I mean, are you having to know that already before you can ask them? Does this make sense?
Okay, so I am seeing the issue as a teacher. Yes, that's true. Even if the issue was there as a student, he knows the process that he will use to question the person he's questioning. He has some knowledge about questions. One of the questions he will ask is, how would you falsify your claim? And for him to have a claim that is unfalsifiable, I just realized by saying that some would have a claim that isn't falsifiable, but the certainty of the claim would be 20%, which is cool. You can have a 20% claim. You can have a 20%. I just really realized that when I say claim, it's 90% or 80% claim. Claims that you believe to be true that are unfalsifiable. This is these type of claims that are fair. They shouldn't have unfalsifiable claims that are above 60%. 60% is enough for so more than 60% confidence in those claims. Well, they shouldn't have those claims that are unfalsifiable. Under maybe, yeah, why not? We are flipping a coin at 50% for me. So under 50% is like, yeah, I just prefer the other way. More confidence in the other claim. So okay. Shit, I forgot the question, Johnny. Oh, Johnny left.
Sorry, Johnny had to run again. He had an appointment to get his mullet cleaned up, and he's a busy man.
It's fun.
Let's get Logic Dot up here.
Logic
You can still do your thing. Just get him up here before I forget again.
We'll get him up here and then we'll land this plane.
I like it.
Hey, Johnny Mungo, nice.
Yeah. So I think it's fine so we'll just call them the two interlocutors, the subject and the practitioner. It's the only requirement that should be placed on the subject's claim is that it's a proposition, like it's truth act. And so, because the whole point is to explore the limits of their intellect. And if it turns out that they're like holding an unfalsifiable claim, maybe that should be pointed out by the practitioner. But I also think there's like probably a bunch of true claims that are not falsifiable. We just like take for granted. I think the deal with like unfalsifiable claims is important in the natural sciences, where your hypothesis needs to be falsifiable, because to test against it, you have to try to look for counterexamples. But a claim like something exists would be like unfalsifiable, wouldn't
it? You're asking me if something exists is unfalsifiable?
Yeah.
It is falsifiable. There are rules for things that exist or don't exist, depending on the meaning of the word exist. There are some people use exist as more largely than others, but depending on what exists, you can make rule, and from the rule, make a test that will falsify the claim this thing exists. There is a coffee cup in front of me, or the coffee cup exists. There are rules for existing of the coffee cup, and I can falsify this rule.
Falsify the claim would be to show that
I cannot touch the coffee cup.
There is not a single thing which exists, or in other words, the set of existent things is the empty set. There's no things which exist. How would you ever show that?
What?
That's the
This
negation.
is Logic 101 right here. I love it.
That's the negation of something exists. There is not anything
set
which
theory.
exists.
Something like anything. Okay, you say the claim would be something exists, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the what do you mean by exist? And what do you mean by something? And yeah, there is a way to falsify it. If existing entails your senses, the way to falsify things is not having the ability to touch things in general. For those who don't have touch, those things do not exist if they never learned about it.
Do you know what the negation of something exists is?
Do I know the negation of something? I didn't hear you well, Logic. What's the question?
Like, to falsify a claim means you prove its negation, right?
You create a test that allow you to find the negative or conclude the negative. That's how I think of falsify a claim. So you claim something true, and you create a test where if the answer is this, then it is true, and if it's not this, then it is false.
So the negation of something exists would be that nothing exists. Like there isn't anything which exists. The existence set is empty. Like how would you show the negation of that claim?
How would I show? I won't be able to utter the words something exists if nothing were to exist.
That's why it's not falsifiable.
I just explained. Okay, you don't understand.
You can't do SE. You're out. Luke, you are barred from SE because you got an unfalsifiable claim that things exist.
You're treading water.
The claim is falsified. Why is it not falsified, Logic? Tell me why.
You're drowning, bro.
Why?
You're treading water.
No.
Why is it not falsified, Logic?
No, you just explained why it's not falsifiable, because you couldn't utter the words. You couldn't even ask the question.
I think we're gonna have to cut her off here.
Cool.
You two get a room. Get a room.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say before you cut me off, the most like successful talk shows have more than one guest, and it's most interesting when there's like crosstalk between the guests. That's why people will come to watch your talk show.
Mm.
But anyway,
That's true.
We can talk about that.
Well, maybe it's at times, and it depends on the guest and the topic. But
It didn't work in the Flat Earth server.
that was fun. I thought it was fun, honestly.
It was fine, but
Whether it was conducive, who knows? But
yeah,
was it entertaining? A little bit. It's like Jerry Springer. You know, it was like watching a train wreck.
yeah.
is this going to be on YouTube?
It
No
is.
ideas.
So you can go back and watch. It is on right now. We're live.
That's pretty cool. I could be like,
Yeah.
watch me annihilate this nerd. No, never mind. All right, I'll leave.
Yeah. Our goal isn't to bash on people. There's plenty of shows about that, and I think it's fun. He's gone. He's not even listening to this, but you'll watch it in recording. I get it. There's a time and a place, but that's just not what we're trying to spend our time on. In that kind of framing. So with all that being said, we're still working out how the show plays, but honestly, I'm just kind of enjoying hanging out with Pierce and hanging out with people who call in, and I'm hoping that Pierce being the number one good looking host and I being a solid second, will just kind of really just carry us on to
I think
next
Johnny
week we
went
might
up
be
to
on with
number
Mr.
one.
Beast.
I think Johnny got ahead of me.
Johnny SE hit the rank, yeah. Oh, jeez. So next week will probably be with Mr. Beast or
Dr.
talking
Phil.
with Vosh Destiny. Yep. Dr. Phil is on the book at in
Aaron
2027. Yep. Mr. Rogers' Ghost will be late 2025, and I think sometime around Christmas, I think we're trying to get Santa Claus. So, fingers crossed. We're talking with his elves. So hang in there for some great content coming on, and we'll keep working out this show. Pierce, any closing remarks on your end?
Not much. You turned off your air conditioner, and I kind of closed my window halfway, and it's really getting hot in here. So we got to end this before I start just like
Taking off all your
sweaty.
clothes. I understand. Yeah, I get it.
That could happen too, So with that being said, good night, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Discord. We'll see you in the after show, where I open my window in between.
Oh yeah.
And drop.